Hello, beautiful lady. I am so happy that you are with me today. And what I want to talk today about is a question that I think is going to come up for some people. Now, some of you may know that other than this 90-day program, Disarm the Alarm, that there are other e-courses that I have. And the other e-courses, you can go online and I allow you to open up the next course. Therefore, if you want to binge it, like you binge watch Netflix and say you're really on a roll and you're like, ooh, I really like this. Like, I did this worksheet, ding, I want to go to the next lesson, and the next lesson, you're able to do that. And I don't allow that in this program. So if any of you have taken the other e-courses and now you're like, oh, I recognize this is another e-course on Experienceify, but yet I also get to meet with her individually, but yet I also. There's lots of other bells and whistles to this premier anxiety program. I do not allow you to go ahead in your lessons because I want to work with you individually, which is why we have our one-on-one private sessions, to make sure that we are practicing things and that you are understanding. Every single thing that I have laid out is in an order. I've worked over 15 years with people with anxiety, and I've learned that a lot of times things don't work because it's in the wrong order. Okay? So people are like, okay, I want to do mindfulness and meditation, yet they haven't practiced any basic breathing techniques. Okay? And if you do that first, it really helps you. If you do a couple of mindful moments or 20, 30 seconds of breathing, it's much easier to then go into meditation. And if you go into meditation, you need to start with guided meditations where you're listening to someone else rather than starting to meditate like you're sitting with your arms and legs crossed, right, in a Zen pose, and you are emptying your mind. That doesn't work. And when someone tries to just empty their mind and you start with that, then it's very hard unless you're a Buddhist monk and you've done it for years and years, right? We don't empty our mind. What happens is your mind is racing, especially if you have anxiety, right? So then you get really frustrated, like, I can't do this, it never works for me. And so that's why we have a pattern to that. It's the same way with when I hear somebody say to a client, well, are you getting upset with anxiety? You just need to breathe. Well, if you are in a panic attack, you can't breathe. It's too late. Okay? You're to the point of no return, especially if you have not even practiced any breathing techniques, right? Breathing techniques are to ward off before you get to the point of no return in a panic attack. So there has to be, sometimes advice comes out that is not good advice, is what I'm saying, okay? And I have learned this myself, okay, through trial and error with my clients over the years, reading many books, going to many trainings, all of this, right? And learned what works may work, but it needs to be in a certain order, okay? For example, a lot of anxiety is about CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy. And people will say, okay, just, reframe your thoughts. But if you haven't recognized which one of the thoughts stir your anxiety that you have often, that you need to reframe, and if you haven't worked with someone on how to reframe those, it's not just as easy as just say the opposite. Just think the opposite, just do the opposite of what you're doing. It's not that easy. It's like when people are in a really bad relationship and they're like, well, I know what a good relationship is. It's just the opposite. But it's really not that simple, okay? Behavior, minds, human beings, relationships, all of this, very complex, very complex. It's absolutely doable, but you have to do it in the right order. So what I'm saying is I don't want you to jump ahead, and I don't want you to speed through anything. I don't want you to get worried about anything that's ahead. Now, definitely, I have given people information of the outline for sure, but I'm not giving you the extra downloads, the worksheets, the mini videos that I have in there, because I want you to stay with me, right? I want you to walk with me, and I want you to be reassured that I know what I'm doing, okay? One lesson builds on the next lesson, and they are in a certain order. We're not going to talk about panic attacks right away. We're going to talk about other stuff. We're not going to talk about, dealing with your fear right away. We're going to be discussing and working through other things. So just trust me, and I know that might be hard because you don't know me, but trust me that I know why I put things in a certain order, okay? And it's not through my knowledge, okay? It is through other people's experience with me that I have gained this knowledge of what works and not works. It's through going to trainings of people that are much more important to me, much more important than me, right? And much more educated than me, okay? That I have learned this, and that I have worked so hard to put it together for you in something that I think is going to be extremely beneficial and very life-changing. And I'm so happy to be privileged enough to work with you through that, okay? So that's why you can't open up the trainings. What will happen is I will probably open up the training for you like 3 days before you meet me. So you will still have the comfort that often people with anxiety need of knowing what comes next. So you'll be able to open that up a few days before and go glance through and go, oh, okay, I know the subject. I know what we're going to talk about, right? And then you don't have to fear, oh my God, what is she going to say in session? What are we going to talk about? What is expected of me, right? I don't want you to fear any of those things. I'm a very laid back, calm person, okay? Your success is my success. And some people are going to learn things faster and slower. And if you learn it slower, it's okay. We still have 90 days, right? 3 months, 12 sessions that I am going to be walking you through and helping you and saying, this is what you need to work on, or let's backtrack, let's do this, let's spend part of the session with this. And that's why I have the outline, but yet it will still be individual, because sometimes we may have to take 2 steps back to go 2 forward. And that's totally fine, because everybody learns things differently. All right, so I hope that that helps. Again, if you have taken another e-course and you're like, hey, I could just open up the next module, the next lesson, the next, training. What's the problem? Mine isn't opening up. That's why there is a reason and there is a purpose behind everything that I have planned. And I hope that you find that I did a good job. And I'm, again, excited to be on the journey with you. Thanks for listening. Have a great day.